Flowtoys Vision Poi. I have been wanting to review these for quite some time, and now I finally have the opportunity.
And as if that isn't enough, I also have a world exclusive, the first glimpses anybody outside of Flowtoys has seen of their forthcoming smartphone app in order to edit these poi. Let's check it out.
Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, bringing you poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today I am reviewing a very exciting product that has just been released from Flowtoys, their Spin 9 Vision Poi. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flowfests, Flowtoys, Pyroterror Light Toys, LMF Props, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these amazing companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I've got down in the description of this video. Cool, so a little bit of context to start us off here. So Vision Poi are part of a line of products offered by Flowtoys that fit into this category of LED props that I'm finding it increasingly difficult to offer up a generic name for. But basically the idea is that as you're spinning the poi and everything, the persistence of vision effect kicks in, and you can see different graphics rendered in the trails of said poi when you spin them around after dark. Now they've offered several props in this line for a couple of years now, including what I believe they call their Vision Poi XL, which are very, very long. But this is the first time that they've offered a product that is a bit smaller and closer to the feel of a conventional set of poi. So I'm going to walk you through the features for these poi, talk a little bit about ease of use, durability, battery life, and tell you a little bit about a new category that many of my viewers have been asking for called How They Feel, before wrapping it all up by telling you how much they cost. Okay, so let's start off by talking about features. So first up, I know the question that most people are asking and everything, and that is that these are not what I would consider to be programmable poi. The product that I think of as programmable poi are the ones that you have software that you can use where you can load, words or custom graphics or logos or what have you and download them onto the poi. These are not those. They do have graphics that are kind of preset on these and everything and adjustable that you can display with them and everything. But the graphics that are on there are the graphics that are on there. You're not going to be able to download your own new patterns to it. So the good news is, despite not being able to download your own custom graphics or patterns onto these and everything, they come preloaded with a lot of different options. They have 80 different individual modes that they come with that are also adjustable according to a variety of different attributes and everything. And of course, if you find a particular mode that you really like or an edit of a particular mode that you really like, you can save it onto a page that is meant just for favorites. And of course, there are show modes where you can basically display a series of favorites in a row if you want to. In addition, like the Pods 2.0 and the other Vision props, they also have a Wi-Fi sync to them. So I can turn on one and it will automatically turn on both of them. I can switch modes between them and everything, and they will stay in touch with each other. Plus which, I can also take an individual capsule and basically group it up with these and everything, and they basically make this function as a remote control and everything, which is really nice. They recharge via micro USB, which you can also use to update the firmware as updates come out and everything. And of course, you can adjust global settings on these with the 5th page, do things like setting different groups or setting brightness and everything. They have 5 different brightness modes depending upon what you want to go for in terms of visibility and battery life and everything. And they come in these hard polycarbonate shells with silicone tips and everything. You can also see that I have their flow masses on each of these to make them feel even more like the poi that I'm used to using. Okay, so that was a lot of features. Now let's talk about how easy they actually are to use. One of my default tests when I get any new set of LED poi is without reading the instructions, how easy is it for me to be able to find something that I want to use to spin with and everything? And the answer is really, really easy. The ease of use with Flowtoys gear is somewhat legendary and everything in this regard. Like, if you just want to get up and running, it is really, really easy to do that. It gets a little bit more complicated when you talk about adjusting individual modes or, say, putting together favorites and everything. I will say that I went through this process, of course, when I reviewed the Poi 2.0, and I found just like the amount of modes and the ways that you adjusted them and everything to be like really intimidating on the Poi, not the least of which because you had to remember so many different things in terms of like how many button presses, how long do I hold it down, what should I be looking for when I do hold it down and everything. And I will say that for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because I've just become familiar with the interface on the Pods 2.0, or that some of it just makes more sense when you have access to more pixels and everything, but I actually found the programming interface a lot less challenging with these than I did with the Poi. You know, I put together a custom show for myself with these and everything the other day, and I was able to do it in just a few minutes. It wasn't very difficult at all. I will say that I'm not sure if I'm going to hold on to all the information that I needed in order to make that happen and everything. If you've got a good working knowledge of the programming interface and the button presses and everything, then you can do a lot of stuff very, very quickly. But if you happen to forget it, you might run into a problem there. So one quick note here is that despite having an easier time programming these than I did with the Capsules 2.0, the single button interface there's no way around it. There is so much packed into these that the single button interface can be challenging. I am told that there is a smartphone app that is in development and on the way that will enable us to have an easier way to navigate through and create programs with these.
Hey there, friends. This is Drex from the future here, because no sooner did I finish shooting this review, but the fine folks over at Flowtoys were kind enough to send me screen captures, the first ever publicly available screen captures of that smartphone app to edit their Poi modes that we have all been asking for so long. So I want to show you what they sent me. So I'll be the first to admit, I'm not exactly sure what this particular screen is showing. It might be like different modes within a page. There's something about the blocks of colors and everything that strikes me as like some kind of navigation and everything. And of course, my guess is that this is kind of like a quick edit mode for the different modes within an individual page and everything, where you can just really quickly change mode, brightness, etc. It might also be like a program. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I have a feeling this will make more sense as we get to the release date on this and everything. Now, this ladder screen, this totally makes sense to me. This looks like a very, very efficient way of editing individual modes and being able to save them to a custom playlist and everything. One thing I really like here is that not only does it give you the name of the mode, but you can also see like a graphic representation of it and everything. And I'm sure as you adjust the sliders for speed and saturation and hue and brightness and all that, there will be graphic changes that you'll be able to see in terms of what the mode looks like and everything, which is pretty cool. And of course, being able to save it to your own personal playlist and everything. And I love the fact that you can come up with the names for a given playlist and everything. That strikes me as pretty cool too. Cool. So thanks for hooking me up there, Flowtoys. I eagerly anticipate that smartphone app when you all get around to releasing it, and I'm sure all of you out there are eager to see that as well.
In addition, they fixed one of the things that was a major pet peeve for me when the Pods 2.0 launched, which was the grouping function. Sometimes I could get it to work and sometimes I couldn't, and it literally just seemed like alchemy for when it would work and when it wouldn't. And these now have a quick group function, which, like, literally all it is you just hold down the button until the things flash white, and that then becomes your group. Congratulations. You've now got them grouped together. So I really, really love this, and I have yet to see it not work. So I highly recommend that. The quick group function is something that is super duper useful, and I'm so glad that they have it now. All right, so now let's talk battery life. As many long-standing viewers will know, I have a standard test, which has now become 2 standard tests that I do for all sets of LED Poi. The first one being that I turn the Poi on as bright as I possibly can, I set them to white, and I wait to see how long it takes for them to burn out the batteries, because that is the most punishing test that I can give the batteries. In addition, I also do a test where I put them on the default brightness setting on a rainbow strobe mode, because that's probably closer to the average use case for most people using them and everything, to see what that looks like as well. So my first test with these on that bright white mode was really interesting. So I set them to brightness level 5, which is the highest one that these offer and everything, and of course I believe that just pure white mode is something like the 2nd or 3rd mode in the first page and everything. It's really quick and easy to find. And for some reason, the first time I ran it, one of the Poi lasted for an hour and a half, and the other one went on for like another hour past that, which seemed super weird to me. So I decided to rerun the test, and sure enough, they both lasted about the same time at about 2.5 hours. I have no idea what went wrong on that first test, but I'm going to say that 2.5 hours is probably what you can expect from these, with you punishing the battery as much as you possibly can. In terms of a rainbow strobe, so I went with brightness level 4 because that was the default setting that these came with. I don't know that that's the default setting that all Vision Poi are shipped with and everything. They went 7 hours on a charge on that first mode, first page with brightness level 4 and everything. So what I'm going to tell you is that if you want to get more battery life out of them, go with the lower brightness and not full white mode and everything, and probably they will last longer than both yours and my patients put together. Cool, so let's talk durability. Flowtoys, of course, are legendary for making flow arts products that can take a beating, and I suspect these are going to be no different. I've only had them for about 2 months, but I've put them through fairly regular use in that time, and I have not been disappointed. They remind me so much of one of the first sets of Poi that I ever got from Flowtoys back in the day and everything, and I have all of the parts of those still, and I have never been able to put a dent in them. To be perfectly frank, they lasted longer than like my focus on them did and everything, so I'm going to say that these are probably going to be somewhere in the same range. Alright, and now for a brand new feature, how they feel. So the no BS on this is that over the years I have reviewed close to a dozen different props that fit into this product category. And these are the only ones that I have ever just played with for fun when I wasn't working on a project or a review for them specifically. Most of these Poi just don't feel like Poi. The weight distribution is such that stalls feel weird, hybrids feel weird. All the stuff that I'm used to doing just doesn't feel very comfortable. These are the exception. They feel so close to the Poi that I'm used to using and everything that I have many times just picked them up to mess around with a trick that I had an idea for and everything instead of my contact Poi. So in terms of how they feel, I'm going to call this a home run. I, of course, am somewhat legendary for not being a nerd when it comes to modes and everything, and there's something very interesting that I noticed while I was navigating the modes on these, and that was that all of these different like sub-modes that I remember going through with the pod Poi and everything and being like, why is this on here? Like, what use does this serve and everything? And now it feels like all of them have their own individual use, and I don't, like, I wonder if they were just like planning 8 steps ahead, where they're just kind of like, okay, this mode may not make the most sense on pod Poi, but it's going to look amazing on the Vision Poi and everything. The other caveat I'm going to put on this one is that please don't make this your first set of LED Poi. Go break yourself on pod Poi and everything, because the polycarbonate housings on these hurt when you make mistakes, and they hurt a lot. Alright, so with all that said, let's talk about price. So, the Spin 9 Vision Poi, which are in beta right now, there are 2 different size options that are selectable for these beta sets and everything. One is the Spin 9 and the other is, I believe, the Spin 16 and everything. But the Spin 9 are available for $295 over at Flowtoys.com. It's an extra $10 to get the flow masses on them. Again, I recommend getting the flow masses on them. It's definitely worth it. So yeah, you should go check that out. And I do have an affiliate code with Flowtoys. It is DrexFactor2020. I don't think it actually works with the Vision Props, but it works with everything else in the store and everything. So at the very least, if you go to pick some up and everything, also like grab a hip sack or something and let them know that I sent you, all right? Cool, so that is my review of the Spin 9 Vision Poi from Flowtoys. I really like these. Thank you for sending them to me, Flowtoys. Do you own a set of the Vision Poi or any of the Vision Props? What has your experience been with them? Let me know down in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions about these, let me know down in the comments as well, and I will do my best to answer them. Please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe so that other people can find this review and get the information that they need out of it. And of course, a quick thank you, because this video was made possible thanks to the kind contributions of all these nice folks right here and those down in the description. These are my wonderful supporters on Patreon. They signed up to make this video and all the videos on my channel possible. If you'd like to sign up to support the work that I do, and no pressure, but it would be greatly appreciated if you did, you can head on over to do that at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and sign up. You can get early access to all of my content, as well as a say in what topics I tackle in the future, plus which some fun extras get posted on there and behind the scenes stuff too. So you should go check that out. Thank you in advance.